Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from Grady Tech, and in this video I'll be showing you the most important tips and tricks for your Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus. By the way guys, I'll be making a dedicated video for S Pen features as it literally has too many features to talk about in just a single video. So that's gonna be a dedicated video. In this video I'll be just talking about some of the highlights of the pen. And besides that, I'll also be making a dedicated video for the best features where I'll be talking about all the features offered by this phone. So definitely check out those videos, link will be in the description. Now with that said, I want to first start off with the most highlighting thing about this phone. That would be the S Pen. First we have screen off memo. Now whenever your phone is locked, you can simply pull out the pen like that and immediately start writing on the note. And this is the screen off memo. You can write whatever you want, and once you're done you can click save and it is done. Now if the pen is already out, you can just press this button and tap on the screen to open screen off memo. So here we have it, and as you can hear, whenever I write on the screen there's a sound as well, just like how you would get with a regular pencil or a pen on a piece of paper. So that's also a new feature. It's not useful, but it's fancy and has a nice feel to it. Another thing to know about the pen, this button at the back is completely useless except for doing this, and it is kind of addicting. Next, when the display is turned on, you can press and hold this button to open the camera application. Now once you open the camera application, you can click this button once to take a picture, and you can press it twice to switch cameras with the front camera. So that's the front camera and this is the rear camera. We also have cool gestures where we can press and do a swipe up or swipe down gesture to switch cameras, and you can also press and hold and left, do a swipe left, or you can also swipe right to change the different modes. I'll talk more about the gestures in my dedicated video. Now one of my favorite features about this S Pen would be live messages. So to use that feature we need to click this button over here, and then we get all these air commands. Select live messages. Now we can use this live messages feature by taking a picture, or you can also use a picture from your gallery, or else you can simply use a solid color. Now select the color that you want and select start drawing. And now here we go, that's the animation. So this is live message and it looks pretty cool. You can share it as a video or a GIF, and I guess it's only available on this phone. It's once again not so useful, but a pretty nice way to send messages. Now let's talk about the side button. Unlike the previous Note series phones, this phone doesn't have a dedicated button for Bixby. Instead, it uses the same button for Bixby and power options as well. By default, it is set to Bixby. So if you long press this side button, it directly takes you to Bixby. Now in this case, if you want to use the power options, then you need to go to the notification toggles, and you have the button over here. Just click it and you have the power options. Now you can also remap it to the regular power button. To do that, first we need to go to settings. Now in settings, scroll and select advanced features. Over here we have side key. Now select power off menu. Once you do that, you can press the power button to trigger power options. This is something I would definitely recommend you to do. Next, we also have a trigger for double press. So I've already set it to quick launch camera, so whenever I press the power button twice, it quickly opens the camera application. So this is also something I would definitely recommend you to do. First, I tried to use Google Assistant. I've even installed Google's Assistant app, but for some reason that was not visible in this list. So these are the applications that you can also quickly open by double pressing the power button. And as you can see, Assistant is not available. So if you want to use Google Assistant, you have to press and hold this power button like that. So guys, now let's talk about some camera related features. Now this is the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus, so it comes with this 3D camera sensor or the time of flight camera setup, and gives you a pretty unique feature called live focus video recording. So here we have it. So in this mode we can record video with a background blur effect, and it does look pretty good. And we also get 4 different options. The first one is to change the amount of background blur effect we want. Next we have bubbles effect, which just changes the background blur shape. Next we have color point, where the subject is in color and the background is in black and white. And finally we also have this new blur effect, which does look pretty cool. Now this feature is also available for the front camera, and this is the blur effect. This is once again a footage recorded using the live focus mode using the front camera with a different effect. Next, this is the color point, where the subject is in color and the rest of the things are in black and white. Now we have color point. I guess this is another effect in the live focus video recording. Next we have that big circle effect, and finally we have the regular blur effect. Now here's a quick sample footage. So guys, this is the footage recorded using the front camera using the live focus mode where the background is blurred. Now I've set them. So guys, now let me just quickly show you all the different modes that are available on this phone. So this is the default camera interface, and you have 3 modes over here. By default, it opens up in the primary camera. On the right side, we have the telephoto lens, which also has optical image stabilization, just in case if you don't know that. On the left side, we have the wide angle camera, which doesn't have optical image stabilization, but it does take some pretty great looking pictures. Now, if you go to the video recording mode, we can record with all the 3 cameras. That's the primary camera, telephoto lens, and the wide angle camera as well. Now, all these cameras support electronic image stabilization by default, so the footage is pretty stable. And the primary camera and the telephoto lens also have optical image stabilization, so the footage is definitely much better. Now, interestingly, on this phone, once we start video recording, we can even change the cameras. Right now, I'm recording with the primary camera. Now I can also switch to the telephoto lens, and then even switch to the wide angle camera without stopping video recording. So this is a pretty cool feature. Next, we have super steady mode as well. So you can enable it from here. And once you enable it, footage will be much more stable than before. Next, we have super slow motion, and here's a quick sample footage. Next, we have the regular slow motion video recording, and once again, here's the sample footage. Now to the left side, we have the live focus mode, and once again on this phone, we can change the amount of background blur effect we want before taking a picture, and even after taking the picture, you can change it. And with this phone especially, you're getting some extra features. Once again, instead of regular background blur effect, you can put all these circles. Next, we have a spiral effect, then zoom effect, and finally, color point, which I've just talked about earlier. Now these are some sample pictures. Next, we have the Pro mode, which brings in a lot of cool features, which are just not available in most of the budget phones. Next, we have Panorama mode, which is pretty cool. Next, we have a dedicated night mode to take better pictures in low lighting conditions, and we can use this feature on all the 3 cameras. And we can also use it for selfies to take better selfies, so that's pretty cool as well. Now finally, we also have a dedicated mode called Food to take better pictures of all the delicious things that you might eat. Now this is the interface for selfies or the front camera, and by default it's in a crop mode, and if you select the second option, this is the wider selfie. So this is the difference. I would usually prefer to take selfies in this mode. If you go to the right side, we have the regular front camera video recording with stabilization as well. Next, we have hyperlapse, and finally you have this live focus video recording, which I've talked about earlier. Now on the left side, we have the live focus selfies once again, which can take some pretty good selfies, and you can also change the amount of background blur effect you want before taking a picture, and you can also take wide angle portrait selfies, which is pretty good once again. Next, we have a dedicated night mode even for selfies, which can take better selfies in low lighting conditions. So guys, now let's look at some camera related shortcuts. You can do a swipe up or swipe down gesture to switch between the front and rear cameras, and you can also do a pinch to zoom gesture to switch between the 3 different cameras on the rear. So if you do a pinch out, you are switched to the wide angle camera. If you pinch in, you can switch to the primary camera and then to the telephoto lens as well. And if you do it further, it's just a regular zoom. Now going on next, this phone has different shooting methods. The first one is by using these buttons. You can just press the volume down or volume up button to take a picture. Next, we have something called floating button. You can just swipe on the shutter button just like that to bring up the floating button. Now to take a picture, you can also click on this floating button. This can be really useful for taking selfies, as you can reposition it wherever you want and easily access it. Now once you're done using this button, you can bring it back to the actual shutter button to hide it. Next, we have palm gesture. To enable it, go to settings and then select shooting methods. Now enable show palm. Once you're done, you can just show your palm to the camera and your phone takes a picture in 3 seconds. Okay, it should work. So here we go. And as you can see, there's a small timer going on near the front camera with a cool animation. So that's an indication and your phone just took a selfie. Now besides that, we also have voice control. To enable it, once again go to settings, then capture modes or shooting modes. Over here we have voice control. Now we can take pictures using voice control by saying things like cheese, capture, smile, cheese, capture, record video. Overall, voice control works, but it's not that reliable. I'll recommend you not to use it. Now the next best feature about this phone would be that dedicated night mode, and you can enable it directly from the toggles. Just search for it and you can find the toggle over here. Once you enable it, all the UI elements change to black and now the phone looks much more cooler. It helps you save some battery and puts less strain on your eyes if you're someone who uses your phone a lot at night. So this is something I would definitely recommend you to do. Next, I'm going to show you how to open split screen mode. Now on this phone, if you want to open split screen mode, this is what you need to do. First, you need to open the recent tabs and then click on the app icon and select open split screen. Once you do that, that application will open up in the top window, and then you can select the secondary application from your recent apps, or else you can go to the home screen and select the secondary application from your app drawer. For now, I'm just going to open gallery. So these are the two applications. Now I can also resize these two applications and use two applications at the same time. Now split screen mode has been on Android for a very long time, but still many applications do not support it. So to fix that, this is what you need to do. First, you need to go to settings, scroll to the bottom, select about phone, then select software information. Now click on build number 7 times. Now enter your password, and once you do that, developer options will be enabled. Now go back to settings and you can find developer options. Now open it up and scroll all the way to the bottom and enable force activities to be resizable and restart the phone. Once you do that, you will be able to use all applications in split screen mode. Next, this phone also has something called Popup View. So to open any application in Popup View, this is what you can do. First, once again, go to the recent apps page, then click on the app icon and select open in Popup View. Once you do that, that application will open up in a floating window. Now you have 4 options. First one is for transparency, so you can make it transparent. Second option is to minimize it to a floating bubble, just like Facebook chat heads. Third option is to maximize it, and the fourth option is to close that application. Now this is a pretty cool feature that's available only on the Samsung phones. Now going on next, I'll also suggest you to change the Autofill service. By default it is set to Samsung Pass, but if you already have all your passwords linked to your Google account, then it's better to use Google account. Even if you didn't understand anything I said so far, just do this. Just go to settings and search for Autofill Service, and now select it. Once again, select this option and select Google. So once you do that, you can access all your passwords saved into your Google account or your Google Chrome from your phone. So whenever you try to log in into applications like Facebook, Instagram or Netflix, all these applications will have autofill or they will log in automatically. So this is also something I would definitely recommend you to do. Now I'm going to show you some super handy gestures. You can swipe down using single finger from the top to pull down the notification bar. You can swipe down with 2 fingers to pull down the notification toggles. Now on your home screen, by default, you can do a swipe up or a swipe down gesture to open the app drawer. Now let's go to settings. Now enable this toggle called swipe down for notifications. Once you do that, you can do a swipe down gesture to pull down the notification bar, and you can do a swipe up gesture to open the app drawer. This is something once again I would recommend you to do. Now once again, if you go to the launcher settings, you have the option to hide applications from here. Now this is a pretty cool feature that most people look forward to, but it isn't perfect. You can still access or see those applications in the Play Store or by installing any third-party launcher. So if you change the launcher, all those hidden applications will be visible once again in that launcher. Now going on next, this is your notification toggles, and you have the brightness slider over here. Now if you want to bring it in your notification area or near your quick toggles, this is what you need to do. Just click this button over here and enable the second toggle. Show control on top. Once you do that, you can see the brightness slider even in the notification area. Now back to the notification toggles, we also have something called quick settings. So if you want to change your Wi-Fi network quickly, instead of going to the settings, you can click on the Wi-Fi name below the Wi-Fi icon to open extra settings. So from here you can easily switch Wi-Fi network without actually going to settings. Next we also have some quick settings for other toggles as well, even for sound profile. Next we also have for Bluetooth, and interestingly you have something for torch as well. So unlike on other phones, we can also change the intensity of this flash. So let me just give you a quick preview. Now I have set the brightness to low. Now the flash is on. This is the brightness. Now I'm going to increase it. And now that's the brightness. Now you can clearly see the difference in brightness levels of the flash. And we can access it just from the quick settings. So this is also something you should definitely check out. Now going on next, this phone also has always on display, and if you want to use it, this is what you need to do. Go to settings, then select lock screen, and over here we have always on display. Now even though this feature is turned on, by default it won't show up when you lock your phone. You need to tap it once to see the always on display. But now if you want to make it always visible, select the second option, show always. Once you do that, always on display will be really always on. And there we go. Now if you don't like this clock style, we can also change it from lock screen settings. Now let's go back a step. Now over here we have clock styles. Select that option. Now select Always On Display. Now these are all the different clock styles we have, and you can select any one that you like. You can also add your own picture or something funny like that, and then just go on. Now this is the new clock screen on the Always On Display. Looks pretty cool. Now I'm going to show you how to take a screenshot on this phone. Normal method like pressing volume down and power button doesn't work on this phone. So instead you have the palm gesture where you can swipe on the screen left to right or right to left to take a screenshot. Or else you can use the pen to take the screenshot. Just bring out the pen and select this option, and you'll get the entire screen as the screenshot. Now we got a screenshot. Let me just save it. Next, we can also take a long screenshot on this phone. So if you want to take a longer screenshot of this application, this is what you need to do. You can first use the gesture. Just do that. Now click this button and then just keep clicking it as long as you want. And once you're done, just leave it and you'll get a longer screenshot. So there we go. This is the preview. Next, I'm going to show you how to record calls automatically on your phone. For that, open the phone dialer. Then click this button over here. Then select settings. Now select record calls and then enable this toggle. Once you do that, all the calls will be recorded automatically on your phone. Next, I'm going to show you how you can change your default apps on your phone. Let's say you want to change your default launcher, SMS application or your browser. This is what you need to do. Go to settings and then select apps. Now click this button over here and select default apps. Now from this page you can change your default browser, default SMS application, phone dialer and so on. By the way guys, I suggest you to change your default browser to Google Chrome. Now for the final tip, we have something called ultra power saving mode. To access it, you can use the quick toggles. Just go to your toggles. Now open quick settings for power modes. Now over here we have the maximum power saving mode. Now once you enable this mode, all the applications running in the background will be killed and stopped. Performance of the phone drops, but standby time of the phone increases insanely. As you can see, with just 28% of battery, this phone can last 2 days in this mode. You have access to 8 applications, 4 are fixed, and you can add 4 extra applications based on your preference. You can add any application, camera, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, even YouTube. You can still use Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and mobile data in this mode. So even in this mode, you still have access to all those applications, but you will have a much better battery life. If you're ever running low on battery, this is something I would definitely recommend you to do. So guys, these are the most important tips and tricks for your Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus. Most of them even apply for the Note 10, except for that live focus video recording. If I missed out on anything important, do let me know by commenting below this video. By the way guys, if you're planning to buy this phone, use the link in the description. It always helps the channel. If you want us to make any specific video, tweet out to us with hashtag AskGreedyTech on Twitter and I'll try to make it as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from Greedy Tech signing off. Have a nice day.